Well, our thing is how we work and how we operate. It must make business sense on our side.
Let me get to you, because I understand that you have retired. You're 50-0. You walked away from the game. You made a lot of money, but you did make news sometime last year when people were talking about you returning. Now, you're 43 years old, okay? I want to know where your head is at as it pertains to you.
Well, whatever reason it is that they want to see you, that reason is why you money. It's not that you just deserve the money because it's hard to do.
Right. I have never encountered an athlete who, number one, flaunts his wealth the way Floyd flaunts his wealth, and who, number two, is so blindly full of himself to the fault of those who did pave the way. He did acknowledge that much, so I appreciate.
Who once boldly proclaimed himself the greatest of all time is now facing serious trouble, as Floyd Mayweather Jr. becomes entangled in a major controversy involving allegations of fraud, with growing reports suggesting that his financial empire could be on the verge of collapse.
The hard way. You know, I'm a kid that came from poverty. I can remember being a kid living in Jersey with my mother. 7 of us living in a 1-bedroom. You know, no lights, no heat. Never cried, never complained. I just worked hard to get to where I got to in life. It's been.
Mayweather Jr. transitioned from Pretty Boy Floyd to Money Mayweather. His image underwent a noticeable transformation, as he stopped being viewed solely as a gifted defensive specialist and instead embraced a reputation centered on opulence and success, shifting his focus away from building a traditional boxing legacy and placing greater emphasis on displaying his riches, making financial status the centerpiece of his public.
It's just complete genius.
Yes.
First of all, from just changing his style, right? He broke his hands a lot. So when he was younger, they called him Pretty Boy Floyd.
Yeah.
And then he changed his name to Money. And when he changed his name to Money, he turns heel.
Yeah.
He became like this guy and everybody wanted to see him get beat.
Yeah.
And he's the most unhittable guy in the history of the sport.
Yes, sir.
Well, it's interesting when fighters figure out ways to do that too, like what Floyd is doing. What Floyd is doing is so interesting. He retires from fighting and he says, I'll just start boxing people who have no chance.
Hey. Into a dominant personal brand built around flaunting immense wealth and an upscale lifestyle, shifting public attention away from his masterful defensive skills in the ring and toward his lavish spending habits, collecting enormous purses with each bout and climbing the ranks to become one of the richest competitors in global sports. A strategy that proved remarkably effective.
The highest paid athlete in the world, and you won't believe why. Early in his career, Floyd partnered with a fight promoter where he was making $3 million a fight, but he wasn't satisfied. He thought he could make way more with pay-per-view and wanted out of his contract. So he bet on himself and paid his manager $750,000 to get out. And you won't believe what happened next, so drop a follow. This would prove to be a huge win for Floyd. And after going independent, he made nearly $1 billion and became the highest paid athlete.
Mayweather Jr. began his career earning around $3 million for each bout, but his true financial surge came after he made the bold move to separate himself and take full control of his own business decisions. That shift set the stage for billion-dollar earnings and elevated him to the top spot among the world's highest-paid athletes. By distancing himself from traditional promoters and steering his career outside the standard boxing framework, he crafted a money-driven legacy that surpassed his.
We had an argument in our life, me and him. Then we had an argument on 24/7. What was the name of it? HBO. You know, HBO. Then another time we argued over by the car. I'm saying, man, what is all this about now? I'm just saying, you know, and we never had no argument. All of a sudden, it is what it is. Sometimes, you know, hey, when people it ain't about me training or anything like that. People get money, man. Things change. I don't care whether it's your father, mother, whoever. Father, mother, brother, sister, name it. You know, if sometimes when people get money.
Fortune grew. Strain began surfacing within his personal relationships. According to Floyd Mayweather Sr., there had never been major tension between them before Floyd achieved massive financial success. But once the multi-million-dollar paydays started rolling in, Their relationship reportedly began to deteriorate as spending became excessive. High-priced cars, real estate investments, and other luxury acquisitions took center stage in his life, shifting his priorities and creating friction between father and son. In his father's view, significant wealth can often alter a person's behavior and outlook.
How do you feel about Floyd, though?
Huh?
How do you feel about
Awesome fighter, great fighter. You know, he's a little too into himself. You know, he should be. I was the same way too, but you have to come to reality some way. You have to bring your head down to God. We're nothing to be fucking arrogant. You expect us to be ignorant and arrogant. Look where we came from.
That's why I asked the question earlier about you mentoring fighters, because I feel like Floyd looked at you growing up like every other fighter. And the persona and the lifestyle was like, growing up in the hood, we looked at it like, that's Mike Tyson. We see the cars, the jewelry, the flair. Like you was a movie star. You was a hero.
Continued to expand. His demeanor reportedly grew more arrogant, a change that contributed to the collapse of several long-standing relationships and friendships. Mike Tyson openly criticized what he viewed as excessive pride, stating that there was nothing admirable about carrying oneself in that manner. He emphasized that despite the enormous fortune Floyd had accumulated, maintaining humility and keeping his ego in check were essential.
They're going, yo, when you gonna give me the money?
Because you had already invested.
Yeah. Right, like when you gonna give me your half of the money back. But I ain't trying to press him because he just got out of jail, right? So it's like, let him cool his heels before you.
Was that in the millions?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you sitting there big and I'm like, yo, so when, but see, the fighters are an asset in themselves. They are that talent, regardless. Right. You know, so I'm looking at him going, so there ain't no pressure there, but I'm saying, when is he gonna say he wants to, to give me the other half of it? Why I gotta ask you for it?
Right.
And then when
are we talking over 2 million?
It's about that.
Oh, okay.
At that point, it was, invested in.
All right.
So look, he goes, when he finally does bring up the actual, the situation, he acted like he didn't know anything. Like, I didn't tell y'all to do that. I didn't tell you to do that.
Oh, man.
He said something to me one time, very simple. He said, what a prize fighter fight for? And I'm like, and he said, the prize. So it's okay for you to watch the fight. Don't nobody watch Floyd fight to see how amazing he is. They watch it for the opportunity to see him lose.
Right.
Because they don't like him. They don't like him because everything that he says is about money. There's nothing else. There's no values. There's no, like the people's champ, like Ali was standing for the same things.
Right.
The audience was standing for. He doesn't have any of that. It's just money. You know what I'm saying? And that, he knows you don't like him.
Floyd also parted ways with one of his brightest young fighters, Tank Davis, who later said he felt taken advantage of by Mayweather. Tank explained that Floyd kept him in a situation where he had to depend on him all the time, even though Davis was bringing in strong money from his own fights. Despite the income Tank generated, he claimed he was not paid fairly, which eventually pushed him to end their partnership.
Or I'm gonna be back asking you for money. Nah, why would I do that? I give her a couple dollars. I take some, whatever, whenever you need some money. You feel me? But when I was legit to be able to get her out the hood, that's what I did.
Like, I had to learn that coming up, that like, a motherfucker will put you in a position to always need him. And like, to the world, it might look like that's a great person. But like, to somebody to understand, you understand like what Kendrick Lamar say? Nah, that's a master manipulator. Like, cause if I gotta put you in a position that they always need me, you always gotta, I'm gonna just give you crumbs. And we hear it a lot. Like, if I'm nigga, what's $1,000? You know what I'm trying to say? But to you who don't have it, is a lot. And I know you gonna go to war for that $1,000. So me understanding that, $48 of plot power, I'ma always feed you a little bit so you can be excited and do just enough to come back around.
But I ain't really, just put me in position to be able to, make my own thing. And I don't want to say no name, but they wind up catching it. The people that's over top of me, I mean, like, I was signed to him, and Floyd signed to him. So the person that, he said, okay, cool, I see what's going on. That's when he's
close bond with 50 Cent was widely talked about in entertainment circles. But as Floyd Mayweather Jr. accumulated more wealth, tension reportedly began to build between them. 50 Cent suggested that Floyd's relentless obsession with money became overwhelming and claimed that Floyd told him he never truly needed his backing despite the strong relationship they had developed over the years. Many observers attributed the split to Floyd's intense preoccupation with financial success, which seemed to overshadow both his legacy and the loyalty of longtime friends who had supported him from the beginning.
Out of all these guys in a history of boxing,
yes,
I've accomplished more than every fighter in the history of boxing.
Okay, Ali.
Is Ali the same fighter that got beat by a fighter with 7 fights? Leon Spinks beat Muhammad Ali when he only had 7 fights.
Yes.
And if we really tell the truth, if we really tell the truth,
well, that's what you're here for. You here to tell the truth.
What's the heavyweight guy that Ali fought 3 times? Ken Norton, actually.
Ken Norton.
Ken Norton really beat Ali all 3 times. Go back and look at the fights. I mean, we just telling the truth. And I love Ali.
Separated from one of his most promising proteges, Gervonta Davis, who later expressed that he felt exploited during their time working together. Davis stated that he was kept in a position of constant reliance, even though his own fights were producing substantial revenue. Despite the strong earnings he generated, he claimed the compensation did not reflect his contributions, a situation that ultimately led him to walk away from the partnership with Floyd Mayweather.
My career, I have never encountered an athlete who, number one, flaunts his wealth the way Floyd flaunts his wealth, and who, number two, is so blindly full of himself to the fault of those who did pave the way. He did acknowledge that much, so I appreciate that much. But the way he just blithely scoffed at Ali's accomplishments, it wasn't just disrespectful, Stephen A. Smith. It was flat out blasphemous. Now, to your credit, you did go back at him. You can't, okay. And to Floyd's credit, you know what? Early in Ali's career, he did get dropped. Not by Bert Cooper, by Henry Cooper in London. He fought him twice in London. And he did get dropped, and he got right back up and won the fight.
Also claimed that Floyd had difficulty handling situations where others received more attention or surpassed him financially, suggesting that he reacted negatively if a fighter earned bigger purses or was regarded as more accomplished. Davis further alleged that Floyd even dismissed the idea that Muhammad Ali stood above him in greatness.
I mean, for you to go out on your terms, not on anybody else's terms, but you to make the decision, you know what? This is it. I don't care what all you guys say. I'm out of here. I'm done.
I mean, I think I just had a game plan. I had a brilliant game plan. The game plan was to be very outspoken. You know, I was born with personality. I was born with charisma. Speak my mind. Speak from the heart. You know, I don't hate or dislike anyone. But I want to go out there, you know, and just do what I have to do inside that square circle. Choose a tremendous team on the outside that's going to help me take things to the next level, and that's what I
ended far beyond his personal relationships as he began openly flaunting his wealth for all to see. This display of luxury, combined with frequent provocative statements, fueled growing resentment from the public. By constantly showcasing his extravagant lifestyle and insisting he was the greatest regardless of others' accomplishments, he solidified a reputation as one of the most polarizing figures in boxing.